Okay, we are now at part 5. Give me just 1 second. All right. I don't know how many parts we have. Again, my sincerest apologies. Hopefully this will get edited into one video. If not, I will be putting up ones that are like a minute, 2 minutes long. And if the message resonates with you, then you may want to stick through to the end and watch them all. If it doesn't, it won't matter anyway. But you'll know by the time you finish part 1, you'll know if you want to watch the others. But we left off at the hangman, and as I said, I'm going to read it verbatim, what they had said to me. So again, I will hold this up for a few seconds, so that hopefully you can read my chicken scratch. Oh, hold on, that it says 5 continued. So where I'm at, 5, the beginning of 5. So there's some real chicken scratch there for you. My mom always said I should be a doctor because I always had this chicken scratch going on. Okay. And yes, as you guys might be able to tell, I'm in a hotel room on the bed. If you couldn't tell, I'm so sorry I gave that away. But clearly, with as much self-doubt as I have, this message I felt was important enough. So anyway, I think that's been in your face long enough. And so I'm going to go, again, I'm going to lay these out here and just kind of so that you can see the cards themselves, but also so that, and I do find this to be true with some readers, what I will notice is that sometimes not only will I get the message that was intended, that they heard, or that was intended as far as they're concerned, but I will also sometimes get a message that is, maybe I should say, more personal to just me based on what I'm seeing in the cards that they may not have mentioned. I'm going to move these so that there's not a glare on that card there, so that you can see, because that's the Temperance card, and that's the one that kind of hit me pretty true. Well, okay, very true. I'm terrible about it. That's one I need to work on, okay? Let's just be honest. I wouldn't have been getting this message if I wasn't on this wavelength. So, what they had to say about it. You must break your own heart, leave behind the last of your defenses. Simply walk away from false sense of safety. Oh, I stuttered through that. Let me try that again. You must break your own heart, leave behind the last of your defenses, simply walk away from a false sense of safety. Find your balance, give up your crutches, and your, again, remember what I said, your vices, but they specified the vices were not what we normally consider vices. They were specifically talking about thoughts. We are not talking about substances of the body, but those of the mind, the self-defeating words that you hide behind because you are afraid to become one with someone else. Take the first steps towards your goals and be willing to do the hard work. What you resist may be the very thing that you need the most. If anyone catches where my voice caught, don't rat me out. I'll leave that up there for a few seconds. This is number 5 continued. Okay. The last card, number 5, was the Hanged Man. Upside down. It had multiple meanings. The only one holding you to any one space is you. Stop letting things get to your head. It clouds your judgment. Be willing to go with the flow of life and follow the signs and synchronicities. And then it was continued. It was continued on the back. Underlying energy of self. The Empress, she sits alone. Oh, I forgot to show you that card. This was what was on the bottom of the deck. I don't usually do underlying energies, but this one was very personal to me, myself. and from what I understand, to several people in the collective. So, just so you can see it. All right, the underlying energy of the self. The Empress, she sits alone. People in her background are dancing and enjoying all that life has to offer. But she sits on her chair, alone with her back to the party. She is only half dressed according to her inner sanctum. And so she sits embarrassed and afraid to turn, too afraid to let her light shine. And as you can tell, some of these points hit very hard home. I had intended, as I said, to do the reading for myself. I was asking, and as I said, the specific question I had was for God to tell me what I could do so that I could serve Him. And I guess maybe I earned something today because this is what I got instead. And I was guided to share it because there are many, many of us on this journey. Many of us going through a very, very hard year and a lot of tower moments. And quite frankly, we don't want to repeat them. At some point, I will share a very prophetic poem that I got about those wavelengths and how we all will travel in these waves together, but not all as one group, as different groups traveling the same wave together while other waves are doing their own thing. And what our group, or the one I'm currently in, kind of how it works for us. And right now we're in this kind of releasing moment where, and you might notice, just another hint to see if you want to watch a lot of my videos, if you resonate with this. If you're a tree hugger, and it doesn't mean you actually have to hug trees, but if you're very in tune with nature, you might be on this wavelength. Those of us that are very in tune with nature, that love trees or love, I know one person on my wavelength likes mushrooms. I know another person on my wavelength just is a like total shaman personality. But those of us on this wavelength, we tend to be very connected to nature, and so we follow this nature type pattern. So for us, we're going through a lot of releasing throughout the fall. Winter will be kind of our resting period. And so that hopefully should give us all some hope. Winter will be kind of our resting period. And then, of course, spring is going to be our more fruitful period. But just remember that all of this that we don't deal with in the fall could come back up again for us at a later date. And so the reason that we're having such a hard time of it is because there are a lot of healers that are about to jump off of this wave into that next vibrational level. And we're getting ready to, as we get ready to do this, we can't do that with that heavy burden of all this karma and all of the self-doubt that we have. So there's a lot of releasing that we have to do in order to make that jump and to not get pulled back down to repeat these things again. So with that having been said, hopefully this helps, some of you in the group. Hopefully it helps a lot of you in the group, because I'm really hoping myself to get the heck out of this wavelength and onto the next one. A little hint, and again, like I said, they had me do it in a poem form. It was actually really beautiful. I transcribed exactly what they said. I thought it was beautiful anyway, but I like everything the angels say, so I'm a little biased. But one of the things that came across in that that I remember very well is the seasonal thing, and that the fall is this time of releasing, and during that releasing, there's a lot of, there's a lot of pain for us. And if you think of it like a tree releases all those leaves, and all of that falls away, and we're losing all of that, But the tree does it naturally. It doesn't hurt the tree because the tree just shakes it off. It lets it go. Every wind blows, and some of those leaves come down, and the tree isn't trying to hold on to that stuff that it doesn't need. So there's no pain in it. It just lets go. And we as humans, we tend not to just let go. And so as we learn to let go, from what I'm hearing and from what they're telling me, the pain will be less. But that's what this fall is about. And then, of course, winter is about resting. But then when we come to spring, that's when we will be planting all these seeds. But we have to prepare for that. We have to release all of this. We have to get ready for that. And then we can do our resting, and then we'll be ready.